despite Fiorentina wanting a rumoured €70 million transfer fee and murmurs of the players' camp not being fully convinced. Arsenal have continued their push to sign Dusan Vlahovic, but has the player today waved goodbye to the Fiorentina fans? Also, has Pablo Mari completed his loan transfer to Udinese, and why has Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang been sent back to Arsenal Football Club? Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Bavs14 and welcome back to your boys channel. It is a brand new week and hopefully we see some massive transfer news, so make sure to go down there and smash a like on the video, and also to subscribe to the boys channel if you are new, and help your boy on his road to 80,000 subscribers. But getting into the Arsenal transfer news and starting off with Dusan Vlahovic. I think it's only right that we start off with the Serbian sensation. Over the past few weeks we've seen quite a few developments, whether that's the agent fees, the transfer fee, the wages, so much stuff happening behind the scenes. A lot of Arsenal fans are now starting to get doubtful of whether he's going to come to Arsenal Football Club. But in terms of tonight, let's just say we've had another development, as Arsenal's lonely Lucas Herrera got on the score sheets, as well as the Arsenal target Dusan Vlahovic, his 17th Serie A goal of the season and 7 consecutive home matches in which he has scored, as Fiorentina beat Genoa 6-0 tonight. Now first things first, 17 Serie A goals and we're only now halfway through the season. At the age of 21, that is almightily impressive. But in terms of the game itself, your boy actually watched it and it actually wasn't all smooth sailing, because in that first half Vlahovic actually missed a penalty and also a massive chance. But in terms of where this now gets interesting is after he scored the goal, his celebration was pretty peculiar, because as you guys can see, he scored the goal and straight away puts his hands up to the Fiorentina fans. Now is he saying sorry for the penalty miss, or is this him saying goodbye? And after the celebration he goes straight over to the Fiorentina manager, giving him a massive hug as well. Again, what does this mean? And it wasn't just that, but even in terms of coming out before the second half started, once again putting his hands up towards the Fiorentina fans, what is he trying to say? Now of course some people will say I've missed the penalty in the first half, he's just simply saying sorry for missing the penalty. But the fact that his team was already 2-0 up, the game was basically done and dusted, it would be really odd for a player to apologise for a penalty miss when it doesn't really matter. And then when you hear things like this was the last Fiorentina home game before the transfer window closes, the more and more I look at that celebration and him coming out for that second half, it does look like a bit of a goodbye in your boy's opinion. Now ultimately this all goes back down to personal interpretation, and now that you guys have seen the videos, what do you guys make of it? Do you think the guy is simply saying sorry for missing a penalty, or is this some sort of goodbye? First it was checking the cloud formation to see if Gabriel Magalhaes was signing, then it's about tracking planes, and now in the latest episode of Arsenal Fans during the transfer window, we have now become professional body language readers. Say what you want about Arsenal Football Club, but in terms of our fan base, we are unmatched when it comes to work rate and transfers. In terms of the Fiorentina manager after the game on Dusan Vlahovic's future, he says, "At the moment we enjoy Dusan here at Fiorentina. He is with us. I don't know about the future. He scored a great goal today. I see him very motivated and he's relaxed." The fact that after the game the manager says I don't know about the future, it says to me that something is happening behind the scenes, and that's where the uncertainty comes from. Because ultimately if Fiorentina wanted to keep the player until the end of the season, this was the perfect opportunity to come out and say he's our player and he's going nowhere until the end of the season. But instead he leaves the possibility very open. But in terms of the latest reports coming out of Corriere Fiorentina, they are saying that there is an overall agreement between Arsenal and Fiorentina for the transfer of Dusan Vlahovic. However, the player and his agent's position is still unknown at this time. I've always kind of said this, in terms of Arsenal and Fiorentina, I don't think the fee or the clubs or the agreement is the issue here. I think Arsenal can pay the money and Fiorentina want to accept that money in this specific transfer window. You even had the CEO of the club itself say a couple of days ago, we're waiting for proposals. And even according to Italian source La Stampa, they claim that Arsenal have sent an official offer between 60 to 70 million euros for Dusan Vlahovic. However, it is not easy to convince the agents of the player, who demands a very high figure of commissions. Now I understand that Arsenal do have money and Arsenal can spend that money, but in terms of how much this guy's agent wants in the first place, well, according to reports in Italy, Vlahovic's agent is asking for a commission fee of 18 million euros. To put into context, 18 million euros buys you another Takehiro Tomiyasu, but when I'm hearing fees like 18 million euros for a player's agent, unfortunately it actually kind of puts me off the player, because I don't want these toxic agents near my football club. Because let's just say, hypothetically speaking, Arsenal were to sign this player, he comes into Arsenal, he scores all the goals and fans love him. Then Arsenal are looking to renew his contract, you then have to once again deal with this guy's toxic agents, and I am not looking for that stress. But in terms of the player now this season, that's now 21 matches, 17 goals scored and 2 assists, averaging a goal every 109 minutes. In terms of the player, once again watching him play today, there's a lot of aspects I like about him. But with the agent fees in mind, and also the fact that the player doesn't seem fully convinced, what do you guys make of Dusan Vlahovic, and do you guys think he is worth all the hassle that Arsenal Football Club are going through? According to Fabrizio Romano, Jonathan David will be one of the big names on the market in the summer. He is not leaving Lyon in January. The plan is to complete the season in Ligue 1. Arsenal have been mentioned as among clubs interested in him, but there is nothing advanced yet and there's an open and long race. So essentially Fabrizio Romano is confirming that Arsenal do hold interest in the Canadian Lille forward Jonathan David, and this has been confirmed by the likes of David Ornstein and Chris Wheatley in the past as well. And according to those guys, Arsenal have actually held discussions behind the scenes with the agent of Jonathan David. So Arsenal clearly do appreciate the player. What I don't understand is the fact that Arsenal of course right now are going for Dusan Vlahovic, and if you are to compare Vlahovic to Jonathan David, even though they are both strikers, they are nothing alike in terms of profiles. Let's just say Arsenal don't sign Vlahovic, then I think the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Alexander Isak are far more similar to a Vlahovic than a Jonathan David in your boy's opinion. According to Chris Wheatley, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is returning to Arsenal, where he will undergo further medical tests following health issues after a positive COVID-19 test. Now in terms of the Arsenal captain, of course he was at the African Cup of Nations with his country Gabon, but even though Gabon right now are second in their group stages, Aubameyang hasn't played a single minute for his country during his tournaments. First it was the fact that he tested positive for COVID-19, and then after that apparently it was down to some underlying heart issues. But alongside Aubameyang, also Mario Lemina has left the Gabon group to join back with their respective clubs. Now the fact that two very key and senior players have both been sent home at the same time, there are a lot of other reports coming out as well, and according to some reports in France, they have accused both players of being sent home due to disciplinary reasons. And after all, there was also a video of both players recently in Dubai having a bit of a meal, I'd say, or a bit of a party, and I think that's where the reports have come from. But in terms of Aubameyang, he says we have problems that are already complicated to solve. Then on top of that, there are rumours. In short, we have health to take care of first and foremost. I won't go back to these false rumours, and I sincerely hope that our team will go as far as possible. So in terms of the guy himself, he has come out straight away on his social media and denied all these reports, saying they are all fake news. But now that he is coming back to Arsenal Football Club, let's not forget he is not on the best terms with Mikel Arteta, and ultimately speaking, I think Arsenal made it clear they are very open to letting Aubameyang go in this transfer window. But be sure to let me know your own thoughts on the ex-Arsenal captain, and if it came down to you, would you be open to keeping Aubameyang in this specific transfer window? Okay, let's move on to the other Arsenal transfer news today, and starting off with a done and completed deal as via Mr. Fabrizio Romano himself, who says the Pablo Mari deal is completed between Arsenal and Udinese. Straight loan until June, no buy option. He'll arrive in Italy this week to undergo his medical. Pablo Mari to the Serie A for me actually makes a lot of sense, because in terms of that league, I think he actually suits these slower centre backs, and unfortunately that is a type of player that Pablo Mari is. Moving on, what about Juventus' Arthur Melo? Well, according to Romeo Agresti today, he says at the moment Juventus have closed the door on Arthur for Arthur as they don't have a replacement. And even according to Italian newspaper La Gazzetta dello Sport, Arthur will stay at Juventus. So just as your boy anticipated yesterday, it looks like this deal is going to collapse, and that being despite the player wanted to come to Arsenal Football Club and Arsenal also pushing for the transfer, Juventus have made it clear that if they can't sign a replacement, they won't let Arthur Melo go. But talking about replacements, according to Sky in Italy, Juventus were expected to ask Arsenal if they could sign Thomas Partey in a deal that would see Arthur join the Gunners. Oh my god, are these guys being serious? Who do you guys think you are? When I'm seeing reports like this from reliable sources, I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal themselves walked away from this transfer. According to other reports in Italy, Arsenal will meet Juventus in the next 48 hours to discuss the straight loan of Arthur, who remains the #1 midfield target. The club feel the players want to move, will leave the Serie A club with no choice but to give in. This is now going to be the key. If Arsenal are going to sign Arthur Melo, this goes all down to the player, because if he can now force a move to Arsenal, that will force Juventus' hand and ultimately giving Arsenal an advantage in his transfer race. But in terms of yourselves, do you think it's now time that Arsenal move on from Arthur Melo? And if so, will they move for a certain Bruno Guimaraes? Well, according to ex-Arsenal player Manuel Petit, he says Bruno Guimaraes is a very talented player. He is a physical guy with very good technique, vision and mentality. He would be a very good player for Arsenal, just like his teammates at Leon Paqueta, who is a very good player as well. Emmanuel Petit saying that Bruno Guimaraes will be the perfect player for Arsenal Football Club. Of course, in terms of any transfer, it's going to be very difficult because the price tag of €45 million in this window alone is just not looking likely. But the fact that Juventus are stalling on Arthur Melo, for me, I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal were to start negotiations with Lyon and see if they can somehow secure a loan with the obligation to buy for this player. But personally speaking, the fact that he is so important to Lyon, I highly doubt that happens in the first place. Arsenal have officially announced the return return of Miguel Aziz returning from his loan in Portsmouth. And in terms of the Portsmouth manager Danny Cowley, he has heaped praise on the player, saying, "I have absolutely no doubt that he'll go on to become a top player. We've been very impressed with his focus and commitment to improve." So yes, a lot of praise there from the Portsmouth manager, but ultimately speaking, the fact that he only started, I believe, 4 league games so far this year for Portsmouth, for Arsenal's eyes, that is simply not enough. But it's not just that, but Arsenal have also confirmed the return of Tyrese John-Jules from his loan from Blackpool. Yet another really highly rated player by Arsenal, 20 years of age John-Jules. I believe he played around 11 games for Blackpool but had no goals and no assists. But in terms of both Aziz and Tyrese John-Jules, according to reports in the UK, they are both expected to leave on loan before the end of the window. So as per my friends, let's keep an eye on Tyrese John-Jules and Miguel Aziz. Okay, let's move on to the other Arsenal news today. And starting off with the Arsenal women's, who have been on fire this year, and one player in particular, of course, is Arsenal's Dutch striker, go-to goal scorer. We're talking Vivianne Miedema, who deserves a massive congratulations, having made the FIFA Pro Women's World 11. When it comes to putting the ball into that back of the net, let's just say Miedema is the definition of a goal machine. But also in terms of the Arsenal ladies, a massive shout out because they have been on fire this year. And as things stand, they are top of the Women's Super League, 4 points clear of second place Chelsea, who do have the game in hand. Arsenal have confirmed that goalkeeper Dejan Iliev, at 26 years of age, has terminated his Arsenal contract by mutual consent and leaves the club after over 9 years. Best of luck in the future. And even in terms of the player, he says, "A decade long ago, I came in as a boy and now I am leaving as a man. The place I call my home, the people I call my family. Thanks to everyone at the club for the opportunity and support. It was an honour working with the best staff and the best teammates. Once a gunner, always a gunner." Having spent 10 years at Arsenal Football Club, unfortunately his first team opportunity simply wasn't going to come. So with that being the case, and him also being 26 years of age, I think this is the perfect opportunity for him to go elsewhere to play some 30 minutes and ultimately further his career. And finally, according to Simon Collins, Arsenal are back in training at London currently today. My understanding is session at the Emirates on Saturday was pre-planned, as they sometimes do it a day before games. So Arsenal are back in training, but the question here is, how many players are available? Because of course Arsenal are meant to play on Thursday a massive second leg semi-final at the Emirates Stadium against Liverpool. Right now we just have Sambi Lokonga as, I guess, the only senior midfielder, and he's still 21 years of age. But let me know your own thoughts going into that massive game on Thursday, and do you think that Arsenal have the facilities, even without the midfielders, to get a win and progress to the Carabao Cup final? But that is the video there. If you guys have enjoyed, make sure to go down there and smash a like on the video, and also do subscribe to my channel if you are new. If you would like to follow your boy on them social medias, then the links will be down below in the description. But that was the latest episode of the Transfers FC, and Mr. Vlahovic is once again dragging out the saga, whether it's the agent or the player. I just want some closure. Anyways guys, I'll see you next time in a bit.